Hi, it's Anne. Welcome back to my channel. So the month of June is almost over, and at the end of the month, that means it's time to set up the next month in our bullet journals. So for the month of July, I decided to go with a cherry blossom theme, and I'm really excited because I got to play around with my watercolors. I've been so into watercolors lately, and I warned you when I did my June setup that watercolors is probably something that you guys are gonna have to see on my channel from now on. And I've been really enjoying myself just experimenting with this medium, and I do have some watercolor goodies planned for you on this channel, so if you're into stuff like that, just don't forget to click that notification bell because I'm excited and you should be too. So basically what I'm doing for the cover page is I decided I just traced a circle around one of my, tea candle holders and just use that as my reference point. I also decided to go in with a gold gel pen to add that tiny little shimmer to the dots at the right hand side right there, and I think that small detail did like the biggest difference. So I'm excited. I like gold and I like watercolors and I like pink. Sue me. For the layout of my monthly overview, I decided to switch things up a little bit this month. I've made the boxes a lot smaller than I normally would, and originally that was because I had to fit in, a 6th row because of the one Sunday that's on that extra week, and I didn't want to like split the spaces, and I just decided to shrink everything a little bit and see how I like that, and honestly I am loving it. I have a ton of space for my goals, for my tasks, and my waiting on list. So what I decided to do is to use my monthly layout as more of a at a glance kind of thing, because I haven't really been setting up my weeklies lately, and therefore my monthly spread has been very cluttered with a bunch of kind of, semi-irrelevant stuff that does not need to be there. So the shrinking of the space means that here I'm only gonna have space for, appointments and work and different events and stuff like that, and maybe like a couple to maybe like a top 3 priorities each day. So I'm really excited about this change, and I'm really like intrigued as of how this will work for me, but I have very high hopes. And I was enjoying myself so much doing these cherry blossoms, and I was kind of just winging it, and I was being very messy about it, and that was actually intentional. And you'll see the further this goes on, the messier I get, kind of. And the flowers has this really sketchy feel to them that I just love, honestly. And the final result of this is probably my favorite monthly layout that I've done, like ever, I think. I let go a little bit. I just let my hand flow. I wasn't trying to make it perfect, and if you look really close, like at the flowers, they don't look very well. Like, they don't look right. If you take a close look at each individual flower, they're kind of ugly, but the overall effect of the flowers with the sketchy style with the watercolors and just the soft pastel pinks with little highlights, or the shading and whatever, I think that the effect of all of that is just gorgeous. Even though if you look, and being nitpicky, there's a lot of mistakes in there, I don't care. And that is like a huge deal for me, because I struggle with perfectionism so much, and just being free and flowy like this is incredibly liberating for me, and I think it's really great for me, like mentally, to do stuff that I know is not perfect and still consider it to be beautiful. So yeah, personal win, yay. The next section is my monthly focus, and this would normally be my habit tracker, but guess what? I got rid of it. Yeah, no, I decided to get rid of my habit tracker, and everyone's like, what? Like, that's such an iconic thing to bullet journaling. And I was like, can I just cut habit tracking out of my bullet journal? And then I'm like, you know what? Yes, I can. It's my journal and I can do whatever I want with it. You know, I decided to cut my habit tracking, and instead I am gonna do kind of like a daily checklist on my phone that I can just tick off, just using some app that I have not decided on which one it is yet, but I'm working on it. So yeah, no, instead of doing the habit tracking, because I've been feeling lately that the reason that I haven't filled, you know, I haven't done my weekly setups and everything is because I've been struggling to keep up with all the things that I need to track already. So I've simplified a lot, and I decided to have my monthly focus where I can track only the kind of new habits that I'm trying to implement, and not like every single little thing that I wish to do every day, because that's just a waste of time for me at least, and I don't feel like it's, you know, adding or helping me in any way, and then it's like it's just becoming this extra chore to do pretty much, and then it's like what's the point even? So the habit tracker is officially cut, at least this month. I'm also putting in my hours worked, where I have, you know, all the information about what hours I have worked, so that I can add it up at the end of the month and kind of predict, you know, how large or small my salary would be. And underneath my projects section, I'm also writing down, you know, the amount of hours that I spend on different projects that I have going on, and they're kind of secretive, so yeah. Up next, I have my expense tracker, and instead of writing expense tracker, I just wrote expenses because I'm lazy. I have also cut the trackers from this spread where I would normally track how often I buy groceries, and also like a no spend tracker. I cut those, and I just put a little section like that says remember, where I can put the stuff that I need to remember that involves my economy. And of course I have my bills to pay section, and all of the information of how I use my expense tracker, along with the budget envelope system that I'm using, I have explained in another video that I will link in the description box down below. So if you're curious as of how I utilize these spreads, everything is explained in that video, so go have a gander at that one. As I mentioned before, I have not been using my weekly spreads, and I haven't even been setting up my weekly spreads. So this month I figured I'm just gonna keep it really simple and not try to figure out, you know, all the stuff that I want to incorporate and stuff. I'm keeping it so basic. I'm just having one little section for each day of the week where I can write down events or to-dos, or, you know, whatever it is that I need to know and do that day. And then I just left the rest of the page blank, so I can write my just weekly to-do list that doesn't have a specific day on the tasks. You know, this is just like things that I do weekly, or something that needs to be done by Sunday, or whatever, you know. So yeah, I'm gonna write down my weekly to-dos and various notes and about my workouts and meal plan and stuff like that. You know, it's just gonna, whatever happens kind of thing. I'm not gonna structure it to where I have a designated space to write everything, because again, I don't want my bullet journal not be a chore that I need to fill in. I want it to be something that is helpful and contributing to my life and my planning style in a positive manner. So yeah, no, I'm leaving this blank and we'll see what happens pretty much. And that is all that I have to show you guys today. Here is a final flip through of all of the spreads that we set up today. If you enjoy this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and if you're new here, please do consider subscribing. Thank you so much for watching, happy planning, and I'll see you next time. Bye!